Hey Leo, how you guys doing? This is going to be a general reading for Leo's Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for July 1st to July 7th. And we're just going to go for some general messages, guys. I'm thinking about alternating one week doing like straight up messages and then the next week more astrology tarot. It's because I got mixed stuff. I'd say 97% of the people like the astrology, but you know, we try to go for everybody. But we can all benefit from some good general messages. So let's pull a shaman oracle for you guys. And we have thunder. Okay. Nice energy here. I'm going to do a Celtic cross spread tonight for you guys. Yeah, just to go for some general energy. So we don't have too much going on in the sky, though, for this first week. Outside, obviously, of that new moon at 10 degrees in Cancer, that solar eclipse on the 2nd, and then July 7th we have Mercury going retrograde at 4 degrees Leo. But you know what, it goes retrograde half our life, so we really can't stop our lives for that. But we just do need to be mindful of it, right? Things are going to be a little wonky and murky. We have to take some extra care in what we're doing. We're starting out with the moon, then High Priestess Leo. What's going on? All right, I can tell you guys right now, this is going to be a very specific message. We have secrets, we have waiting. So remember, this is it's a general reading, right? Not every reading can resonate. Take what resonates, throw out the rest, and definitely catch your rising and your moon and your Venus signs to get more information. All right, let's get right into this. Thunder. So when thunder comes into your reading, it refers to a very dramatic change that feels like wild elephants are on the run, right? When you feel it through your bones and you know that you are, for lack of a better term, powerless to influence whatever events are being set in motion. And this is telling you to just be prepared for anything right now. You do have wonderful opportunities arriving. But now is the time you really need to focus on being flexible and willing to experience whatever's going to happen without trying to dictate where or in what form the opportunities come in, you know. Destiny is definitely arriving here. This is very strong with this card. But this also wants you to ask if you feel like unnecessary drama is impacting your life. Like, are you exhausted from listening to others tell you their never-ending victim story? Or could you be the one telling yourself a version of the same, you know? It's time for an about face in this energy, because you're being warned here that to continue on this path that you're on right now will cause you to regret your choices, even if they appear to be very benign, very familiar. It's time to say no to drama, both yours and other people's. Focus on solutions right now rather than problems, because you're worth a drama-free life. And I could see we got some drama going on here, Leo, I do have to say. Yeah. All right, the energy of the situation right now we got is the Moon card, which is a Pisces energy. It's a water element. And the traditional meaning here is a crisis of faith and a period of emotional vulnerability. So it reveals the misgivings about a situation. You're just not sure what to believe. You don't know if what you're hearing and seeing is the truth. You know, under the light of the moon, is what you're seeing an illusion? You know, what does the moon bring to light? You know, regarding a problem that needs attention in your life. This may very well be a deep emotional conflict, and the struggle is seemingly more private than shared right now. But guys, this is time to make a decision. You gotta make a decision right now, and you need to choose wisely. This energy recommends definitely that you rely more on your senses than on your intellect and your logic right now. But really pay attention to your intuition and your dreams during this time, because this moon can also show that you're being asked to broaden your life experiences. But for many of you, I'm getting the prospect of that makes you very uncomfortable. But the moon asks you to dive deep and examine the real cause for that discomfort. And in relationships, this typically indicates confusion and disappointment as someone lets you down, right? There's a lack of trust here. There's lack of trust. really pushes you to make a final decision regarding a relationship. It's an overall feeling of disillusionment here. But, listen, I mean, in this, one thing I always like to note about the moon card too is, you see, I don't know if you guys can see, this path here between the dogs. That's a path leading off into God knows where, right? But it's a path. It's a new way. It's a new way of being. It's a new way of traveling. It's a new life, So it's right there for you if you want it, right? If you want it. But I'm getting a very trepidatious energy from whoever this is resonating with. I can't even deal with these cards. And then we have the High Priestess, which is the energy that's crossing you. This is associated with the moon. And since we got the moon in your situation, this tells me there are many, many, many secrets going on here. Because this is all about hidden knowledge and intuition, psychic experiences, significant dreams. There's something that you're thinking about right now, Leo, okay? That's in an incubation period within you that you're not really talking to anybody too much about. This is a time where you're going very deeply inward. Many of you looking for a new way to approach your spiritual journey. Some of you are really trying to cultivate an idea of just a new way of living, a new way of being, okay? But you're not really talking to anybody about it. Now, as far as relationships, this can mean being single for a time. And if you're in a relationship, you holding secrets from your partner, or you and your partner together choosing to keep something in your life separate, as a secret from your friends and family. Now this can also indicate a time where you're feeling a little emotionally distant from your tribe, the people that you live with, your family members, close friends, but it really can just be a matter of you guys just being really busy doing your own thing, just very entrenched in your lives. But yeah. But there are definitely secrets going on here. And then we have the Three of Swords reversed. Okay, this is the best to be achieved from this situation. This is a Saturn and Libra energy, and it indicates upset. Okay, there's a pain of a truth here, where the clouds of doubt are cleared, and there's nothing to do but face the reality of the situation. So this is typically a common energy for relationship betrayal. It can indicate affairs or disloyalty in other areas of life. Your relationship might be perfectly fine, but you find out a friend betrayed you, or a colleague, something having to do with a business dealing. The good thing here, though, is that you do get to the heart of the matter, so any confusion is banished. But the fact that it's reversed like this indicates that there's a lot of drama and fighting accompanied by this betrayal. But in a sense, though, despite the upheaval, this gives a more positive meaning than the upright, because at least feelings are expressed, and some of the confusion that you're feeling and pain is shared and released. And whoever you do that to is definitely going to understand your need to vent, so don't worry about that. But yeah. And then in your foundational energy, we have the Four of Cups. This is a Moon and Cancer energy. And since water are emotions, if you're looking for a relationship, this card indicates feeling disillusioned. We usually get this when, if you've been hurt in the past and you're in a space of protecting yourself with what I call the grand checklist card, if they don't have this, I'm definitely not going to deal with them. Or they need to have this, this, and this in order for me to even think about it, kind of thing, right? Instantly rejecting anyone who doesn't live up to your exact standards, to the degree that even if the most perfect partner came along, you wouldn't recognize the potential, because you're in this space of feeling like, will I ever meet anyone I like who is on the up and up and who's honest, and and the answer is yes, and you will, but you need to risk opening up emotionally again, because the thing is, you may think you're ready for love, but I'm getting here, there are some past issues that you still need to heal. So yeah, you still need to heal stuff. Now, for those of you in an established relationship, this card indicates you're feeling really bored right now. And this could just be a phase, so if so, it's time to pump in some romance. Otherwise, you may find yourself staying in the relationship more out of habit than anything else. And for others of you who have nothing to do with relationships, okay, this can indicate you're feeling really bored with your job, where you need to make a positive change in your environment there. Even a small change can go a really long way in this energy, which is good, And then the past energy here, we have the Four of Swords, which is Jupiter and Libra. And obviously this is you taking a little time out, a little rest. Now this can be from work or relationship, okay? So this does typically come up in like the past or present position to show taking a break from a relationship, or it can indicate recovery for some of you who have maybe been struggling some sort of illness. But you may have just needed some more mental space and private time than usual. So in this sense, this card is a nudge to take some time alone to recharge, and that's what you were doing in this space. Additionally, this can indicate many of you being in counseling, okay, or trying a new therapist to help you through some of the pains of what you're dealing with right now. I'm getting a lot of relationship issues, misunderstandings, disconnect kind of thing. I am getting that. But I am getting that you're doing the right thing if you're getting some help, Leo, for sure. Oh my gosh, for sure. And then we have the Seven of Wands reverse. This is your near future energy. This is a Mars and Leo. This can indicate that you're doubting your purpose right now. That doesn't surprise me because you're going through a tough something here, You're going to be in a space of struggling to be heard. It feels like constant obstacles in your way. And you're just not feeling very clear on if what you're trying to work towards is even worthwhile. And as a result, this can definitely incite some anxiety or hesitation about something at least, Now, another meaning to this can be that you might be feeling quite overwhelmed with continual problems, So if so, the message here is to focus on the areas of your life where you could still make a really good difference while accepting the things that you just can't change. Now, this applies to relationships too. So, this is a great time to ask yourself really honestly, what imperfections can you live with, and which aspects, such as your partner's attitude or circumstances, are non-negotiable. This is a really good time to get in touch with that energy. And if you're not with anyone right now, it's an equally good time to do that, because it's good for you to figure out what works for you and not, what doesn't work for you, Now, in the you position, this represents you. We have the Ace of Wands reverse, which is an Aries, Leo, and Sag energy. And when this is reversed, it indicates blocks or delays to a goal that you're trying to move forward with. And, this doesn't surprise me, right? Because of Mercury retrograde. So in work, a project may be abandoned or postponed due to poor management. In general, this card reveals false starts, and the need to rethink plans. But you know what I say when we get this card? To me, this is the kind of thing where it's like rejection is protection, because what you end up rethinking is going to be so much better than your initial plan. So in that way, I think this is entirely positive, having to do with a project, right? But now in relationships, this does indicate a lack of commitment, and typically I do have to say the commitment is lacking from a man, or time apart for a couple, usually due to work, and typically in this energy, it is the woman who finds herself waiting for the man, all right? That is the traditional understanding, and I have to say that, just I do so many private readings that this is more often than not absolutely the case. So I hate to, make anything about gender, because typically in tarot we don't acknowledge gender, or at least I don't. But I do have to say that because that is typically the energy that comes through with that. Now in the external influence position, we have the King of Swords reverse, which is a Capricorn Aquarius energy. And when we get this influence, the usual balanced King of Swords energy can turn to be very destructive, where you may be put under very unreasonable pressure to produce results right now. And unfortunately, at least you're going to be feeling like there's no room for argument or personal interpretation. And the best word for this energy that you're feeling is oppressed. But this is temporary. So some of you may be just dealing with someone who plays mind games and who would do almost anything to win the situation. But yeah, that is an external energy that you're having to deal with, okay? Now, moving forward in your hopes and fears, we have the Fool. So I'm getting that many of you really want to adapt the Fool sensibility, right? I mean, the Fool's an awesome card. It really has all of the major arcanas in it, because you need such strength to do what the Fool does. Because the Fool is all about taking calculated risks and just moving ahead. This energy is all about opportunity to start over and feel young again and excited at the prospect of a new way of living, you know. The Fool's the embodiment of your spirit, whether male or female, okay, where you're in a space where you're just ready to explore and discover. And whatever you start in this energy will go well, provided that you look before you leap, kind of thing. And I'm getting that this is what you guys want to do. But at the same time, you fear the decisions that need to be made in this energy, because once the decision is made, it's time to push forward and not look back and have the courage to commit to that path and be fully in that moment. But it requires leaving the past behind. And that's not so easy to do sometimes, is it? You know, that's the trick. So that's the fear, but yet this energy is available to you, which is awesome. The Fool energy is awesome. I love the Fool energy, you know. And then in your final outcome card, we have the Three of Pentacles reverse, which is a Mars and Capricorn energy. And this typically indicates that work is tiresome, and you just may not be putting in the groundwork that you need to be putting in at work, or maybe working at all. And this can be, I'm just getting a very disheartened feeling. Like maybe, you know, you've seen it all before. You've grown very cynical about your job or about a project that you're working on. Yeah, and this can also indicate, though, for others of you, you guys hooking into a role, having taken on a role earlier, like in the past, for like the perceived glamour of it, or how it was sold to you, only to later realize that the work is just incredibly tedious and boring. And you'll either need to push through, you know, or make a swift decision to move on to another career or another situation. Another interpretation of this is poor planning, so that a certain project that you were trying to push forward doesn't succeed. Now, also in this, because, you know, in the upright, I do call this the architect card, because this is the card of like building. It's how I learned it a long time ago in passing by a teacher, and it always stuck with me, because I do think that in the upright, it is about the building of something together. But just in the reverse, and the idea of architect and building, I am getting that anything that indicates building or framework of any kind, construction, anything like that, you may have issues with finishing work that was begun. You know, maybe some of you guys are like doing some work on your house, and that would resonate with you. Leo. This is a tough energy to go through, but just a couple of little caveats. First of all, not that energy understands like Sunday to Sunday, right? Because energy really doesn't understand that. But this is, you know, when I meditated with the cards, this is for a very brief time period. This is something that you're going through, if you resonated with this in a certain aspect of your life, that you're going to be evolving out of. And you have to know that, because it's just the way eclipses work. It just is, all right? And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, please check out the first two, the 2 June reads that I did. At least, if you can't watch them both, or if you don't feel like watching both, at least watch like the first 9 or 10 minutes of the 1st June read, just so you understand what we're dealing with this eclipse. And it's just part of the process, guys. And know that whatever is eclipsed out of your life right now, and I promise you this, it's for your higher good, and this was not meant for you. It just was not meant for you. That doesn't make it hurt any less. That doesn't make it any less confusing, any less scary, right? Because change is scary. I understand that, but we're all going through it, you know? And yeah, so this is what I have for you for this first week of July. And listen, check back in for the second week of July next week, because we do have some nicer stuff going on. You know, we do have Cancer, Sextile, Uranus, and Taurus. So we do, you know, we have some nice energy hanging with us for that second week. So yeah, thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.